Good evening. In James 1, verses 2 through 3, James says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." I don't know about you, but when I find myself having a hard time, being joyful usually isn't the first thing that comes to mind. Whatever trial I'm in, I just want it to go away. No one enjoys going through hard times. Yet here's James telling them and us to count it as joy. Recently, I hit a pole with my car, and I don't want to talk about it, but it busted on my headlight pretty bad. I was so worried my parents were going to be mad and kill me, but they said, "It's okay, there are worse things." So I was joyful that they weren't mad, but I still had to pay for it. Before I even got home, my dad had already had me lined up a job that very next Saturday. When I hit that pole, it certainly did not make me feel joy. Working all day on a Saturday did not make me feel joyful, but I did learn some things. I learned it's better to be safe than sorry, and I learned that it feels good to earn my own money, even though I spent most of it on the headlight. That particular trial was my fault. I created it, so I had to pay the consequences. However, there are lots of times that we go through trials that we don't create. A hard time that may happen to us is something that we have absolutely no control over in that situation whatsoever. I thought this would be a good time to bring this topic up due to the recent floodings. Here in our area, we were mostly safe from the hurricane, but you may know someone that was affected very badly during the storms. A lot of those people lost everything. How do we count joy in that? Is that what he means, to enjoy that? Well, of course not. Here's an example, the story of Paul and Silas. They were beaten and then thrown into prison. But instead of worrying about their current situation they were in, they decided to turn to God. Acts 16 says that at midnight they were praying and singing songs to God. They turned their sorrow into leaning on God and putting all their faith into Him. As you know in the rest of the story, the jailer and his whole family ended up being baptized and saved that very night. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. That is what we comfort in. That is what we can find peace in. That is how we find the joy. Here's another example, the story of Joseph. This is one of the best examples of perseverance and endurance during the trial. Joseph would get out of one trial and then be immediately casted right into another trial. Just imagine the things he went through. He was betrayed by his own brothers. He was thrown into slavery. And just as things smoothed out for him, he was thrown right into prison. But each time he was enduring one of these trials, he always looked for the good in his situations. No matter how low he was, he always tried to rise to the top. He never once stopped putting his faith into God. It's okay to be sad in a hard time. God made us to be like that. He's just reminding us to not stay in the sadness forever. We need to look for the blessings He's given us during these times. Once we realize that these hard times we go through are just helping us build our faith stronger, we can start to handle these situations a lot better because we know that He promised us a reward. That reward, of course, being heaven. 1 Peter 4:13. But rejoice to the extent that you partake of Christ's sufferings, that when His glory is revealed, you may also be glad with exceeding joy. If we just keep focusing on the reward during these hard times, it will make the trial that we are going through so much better to handle. Tonight, if you don't have the faith that you think you need, there are plenty of people here who would love to talk to you about it. You may have lost your hope and need some encouragement and would like to ask for prayers from your brothers and sisters. Whatever your need is, you have the opportunity now as we stand to sing.